Greetings and welcome to another transmission from your lovely host, Key the Freak Show Babe. And on this episode, podcast, video, or whatever medium in which you are receiving this, it could be, just a transcript. Um, I really wanted to touch on the subject of being comfortable, or as Beyonce's latest release, this is 2022, the song is called Cozy, where she says she is comfortable in her skin and cozy with who I am. Now, when you listen to the song, it's kind of upbeat and like a motivating shoot type of song. And it really it's really put into words something that I personally had been dealing with over the past couple of weeks. And so, what I'm finding is that when you are made aware of your life path, your soul mission or purpose, there's several phases and things that you go through. And I know that there's more things that I'm probably going to experience and go through while I'm on this journey because, life is a journey, not a destination. But I realized yesterday that two things. So I guess we'll cover two topics or two thoughts, two trains of thoughts in this episode. One being that the thing that had been holding me back personally is that I didn't want to share my journey. I didn't want to share the process. I was waiting to achieve a certain level or a certain destination in my mind to feel like I was secure enough or I was there enough and solidified and certain enough in my purpose path um, and mission before I started to make, content that was transformational, that was truly in line with what I'm here to do. And the second thing was there is a underlying current where something that had to be broken down for me, like a tower moment in the tarot card. So if you are familiar with tarot, bear with me as I explain this to those that aren't. But in the tarot deck, there is a card that has a tower on it, and usually it's depicted with a lightning bolt striking it or something to indicate higher level destruction or breakdown, forces of nature, forces beyond our control, breaking down this establishment. And with it, the scene on the card itself is pretty chaotic. There's, people falling from the building, there's fire, there's all these different things on this tarot card. But a tower moment really allows the complete destruction or upheaval in such a swift way of an established process or old program that we are unable to salvage anything, and the only thing left to do is rebuild from that moment. And so usually in a tarot reading, if you pull a tower card, especially if it's upright, then there's usually supporting cards around it that say something like, you're now in a new beginning is coming, or all of these other things. So it's a breakdown of an old establishment. So you may be doing something for years, or you may have had this program for years, and now because the building itself that's depicted on the tarot card is like truly like an established building. So think about um like a courthouse or something that's been long standing in the town square that's suddenly getting, gotten demolished through natural disaster, maybe like a lightning strike or a hurricane or something like that. And now it's completely rubble, and the town has to come together and rebuild. So sometimes we experience events in our life. A lot of times we experience events in our life that are cataclysmic, is the word I think I'm looking for right now, that force us out of a old program, a old way of thinking, or old systems so that we have an opportunity to rebuild. So I typically look at tower moments as, great opportunities for growth, painful but great opportunities for growth. Because remember, we grow through things that we go through and experience, may it be pain or, challenges in life that later become lessons for us, versus when everything is all hunky dory and easy. So if life is hunky dory and grand, there may be a thing or two that you might be overlooking or avoiding. Not saying go seeking out trouble, but I'm just saying that we will have periods of hunky doriness, and then we will also have periods of upheaval and change and, you know, challenges and things that we must go through. And so with that being said, it's pretty it's pretty evident sometimes when it's happening, because there's internal turmoil. And it's not necessarily that these things suddenly don't fit anymore, suddenly don't work anymore. What actually happens is your you change within, and because of the tower, you start to think different, you start to question things, and therefore starts the process for change. So it's more of an internal turmoil versus an external. So for me personally, one thing that I had kind of adopted this programming of maintaining and holding space for a lot of friends and a lot of people, acquaintances in my life. And at this stage in my life, I have, it's been ongoing for about a year and a half to 2 years, that I've been inventorying my relationships and questioning if these relationships that I am maintaining are holding on to are supportive of my personal life and my goals and who I am and who I want to become in the area and where I'm going, or if they're detracting, or if, it's like an energy vampire situation. And a energy vampire, again, bear with me for those that may be listening, that already know this, as I explained to those that don't, is a person or a thing. It could be an item, like a not an item, more like a activity or something you do that actually drains your energy, depletes your energy, and it's really just there to kind of not, it doesn't serve your highest good. So an example would be sometimes a person who is in your life that you may enjoy or like, but they only seem to come around when they want something or need something from you. This could be a person that is looking to sell you something, or a person that is, you thought were your friend or an acquaintance, but you start to realize that the person's main goal or reason for talking to you is literally because they want you to do something that benefits them and has pretty much zero benefit for you. And so this could be in the form of, you may only hear from a friend of yours, air quote friend of yours, when he or she is struggling with a life crisis. This happens a lot to empaths, where people use them as emotional kind of dumping grounds. So an empath, being who they are and having these experiences in life and wanting to help and just being that heart bleeding, heart centered, heart focused type of person, will open themselves up, or more susceptible, or are susceptible to encountering and receiving a lot of energy vampires in their life, just due to their nature of wanting to help and their innate, desire to exude care and concern. And so when you inventory your relationships, you ask yourself, really look at it from a top down view. Is this relationship, you know supporting my life path and my purpose, or supporting me and who I am? And am I supporting that person and who they are? Or is this a relationship that is me giving and them taking, or them giving and me taking? Because on that flip side, you can also be an energy vampire without even realizing it. Maybe you find comfort or um solitude or security in with being with a certain person or being around a certain person. So as a result, you're around that person, you spend a lot of time around that person, but when you really take a top-down view of that relationship, you're not giving anything. Whether it's not, you're not giving affection, if it's a romantic type of relationship, or you are guarding your heart in a way that the person doesn't actually receive the love that you're closed off to giving more, or even what's necessary to make it more of a partnership or an equal event. And so the idea of being comfortable and cozy in your skin is to understand and know, and actually understand, know, feel, and experience the deep care and love that you have for yourself. So the true acceptance of who you are at your core and your essence pretty much resolves or dissolves the need for you to seek outside and external validation from other people, but also allows you to release or receive friendships that are better in line with who you are. So that looks something like you are comfortable and cozy with who you are. And so if you encounter a person that you may feel like is pretty nice, and that you could potentially hang out with, but you inventory that relationship, and while they're nice on the surface, you realize that, this is a more of a energy vampire or take type of situation, or this person is closed off to actual friendship and they just want something from you. You are okay with the idea that that relationship or friendship is really not for your highest good, and you are okay with releasing it. Another example of being comfortable with who you are and how it helps you deal with interpersonal relationships, um outside of on the outside world, is when maybe you encounter somebody and you really like that person and you really want to hang out with that person, and you think they're the bee's knees, but they're just not feeling you like that. You guys aren't really on the same page. Maybe they didn't like your shirt or something like that, or they formulated or in their mind something about you that they don't like or necessarily agree with. The vibe is off and that person just isn't feeling you. You may feel a feeling of rejection, but a resolution or solution for that feeling of rejection actually comes from the fact that you are comfortable with who you are, and you understand that not everyone is for you, and you are not for everyone. You are for the people that are in line with you and your frequency at that point in time, or your vibration, whatever way you would like to call it, um but are in line with your true essence. But in the grand scheme of things, as long as you are comfortable and content with yourself and happy and okay with who you are fundamentally at your core, then you can move through life not really being impacted by the little instances in which you may have felt, and otherwise you may have felt rejected. Because so this isn't that you won't feel or experience a small tinge of rejection in the earlier stages of working through this process and understanding this. It may be painful. You may experience your first bit of you inventorying a relationship and realizing that someone you really liked, that you actually cared for, is just a person that's not in alignment with who you are and where you're going, and it's not in your best interest to maintain that relationship. at that point you have to make the decision, or you are charged with making the decision that's in support of your highest ideals, because that should be the main focus or goal, is to progress through life and learn and experience things in a way that's best suited for our soul growth and evolution. So I will most certainly end this here, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the comments, or and let me know, how did this resonate with you? Do you have you experienced this before? Are you struggling with being comfortable and cozy with who you are? And what relationships, or when you